Hi everyone, I'm Laurie Doucet from the Heather Murray team with Homestead and Ranch Real Estate. I'd like to talk to you a minute about the music through my decades. I began loving music in the 1960s as a preteen when I first heard Simon and Garfunkel's Sounds of Silence. And I fell in love with the song again when Disturbed recorded it in 2015. In the 1970s, that was the greatest time of my life. I was a teenager trying to live life big, and it was all about music and dancing in the 70s. And we couldn't wait to find a place to hold on tight and belly rub to the music. And I fell in love with UB40's Red Red Wine. In the 1980s, we lived a life of turmoil. I was a young mother, raising children, new marriage, trying to start a career, and I every day was listening to Bon Jovi's Living on a Prayer. That's what I was doing, living on a prayer. In the 1990s was the best time of my career. I was settled and having a good time. I was a counselor for Texas War on Drugs. And I remember being at one of those conferences and in the middle of a gym of hundreds of middle school students, one being my own 13-year-old son. It's the first time I heard Eric Clapton's Tears from Heaven. And I watched that song resonate on those children. And I determined that day that would be my mantra, that I would spend the rest of my career helping children stay away from drugs. In the decade of the 2000s, it was a dramatic decade for me. My children were growing up, they were getting married, going away to college, and I danced and sang and cried Leanne Womack's I Hope You Dance through the entire decade. Not sure it worked, but my kids turned out to be wonderful young men. In 2010, I survived raising children. It was a wonderful time of life. George Strait's When the Cowboy Runs Away summarized my entire career. I retired and I was just waiting for whatever happened next. And of course, I will always love Lauren Daigle's Trust in You. And that's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I'm glad I lived music through my decades. In summation of my music through the decades, I'm glad my life is left to chance. I could have missed the pain, but I would have had to miss the dance.